Take off the blazer, loosen up the tie, step inside the booth. Mr. Monday is alive. You're listening to the Urban Business Roundtable. I'm your host, Curtis R. Monday. Call me live in the studio at 312-374-8130. That's 312-374-8130. I got a great show lined up for you today. I want to say good morning to all my people on Facebook Live. Follow me. What's going on, Brian Anthony Cunningham? I see you, brother. Good morning to you. This is Nate Gilbert. We appreciate you. Always a loyal supporter of what we do here. Minerva Hernandez, long-time financial loan officer in the business. Good to hear from you, Minerva. Tune in to He Flips at 11 a.m. with me. And also Mr. Calvin Randall. Mr. Randall, good morning to you. This show is called the Urban Business Roundtable. The show is dedicated to the creation and growth of the urban entrepreneur and small business owner. We have three primary goals here on UBR, or the Urban Business Roundtable. One, to redefine the word urban and to help the urban community leverage their purchasing power. Two, to be a resource for the creation, sustaining, and growth of small businesses and entrepreneurship. And three, to provide small business owners and entrepreneurs access to capital and opportunities to grow their business. You can listen to the Urban Business Roundtable live every Saturday here on the Talk Chicago 1690 AM WVON from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and a condensed recap on Wednesdays at 8:30 a.m. And Thursdays at 6:05 p.m. Today's show got some great guests lined up coming up shortly. We're going to have Ms. Robi Smith, CEO of RB Pest Solutions. She's my in-studio guest. And then also joining us would be multi-platinum singer, Grammy Award-winning artist and author, Miss Erica Campbell, one half of the duo of Mary Mary, will stop by to talk to us about what she's doing. Before we get started, I got to get thanks where thanks is due. I want to say thanks to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Thank you for all that you do. And he dropped us a nugget in my spirit, as always, this week. And one thing I want to share with you guys that was dropped in my spirit was that the enemy doesn't fight you because of where you are. The enemy fights you because of where you're going. And so there's a correlation between the level of your pain and the promise that God has in your life. And so if you find yourself in a perpetual battle, if you find yourself always in this struggle, it could be an indication, it probably is an indication that you're destined to do something that threatens the enemy's kingdom and glorifies God. So embrace that battle, embrace that struggle, know it's all part of the process. The doors of the church are open. Can I get an amen? That's right, Robbie. What's up, Nate? Nate Edmonds, I see you, brother. Roderick D. Miller, I see you also. Want to also, again, thank you to our sponsor, Ariel Investment. You can connect with Ariel with them at ariel.com, I believe. That's the website. Thank you for all the good people over at Ariel and what you do. Be sure to follow me on social media, Facebook, Curtis R. Monday, Instagram, C Monday, and go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We broke 150 subscribers on the YouTube channel. Yeah. Slow and steady is the way to go. I think that's Ariel's tag. Slow and steady. That's what we're doing, Ariel, so I appreciate you. Again, we got $100 for, let's see, I got $100 for the 15th subscriber, so 165. Well, it gets you in the 165. I got $100 for you. Also, again, like I said, listen to He Flips with myself and EJ Williams coming up here on WVON at 11 a.m. From noon, talk about real estate. But I want to get started right away. Good morning to Big Cuz, my man Troy, Silent Assassin. Good morning to my in-studio team on the ones and twos, Sonya Levine. But let's get started because we got a packed show lined up for you today. Let's get to my first guest. Born and raised on the south side of Chicago, Miss Robi Smith was driven from a very young age. Growing up, the importance of education and an upstanding work ethic was woven into her, and her interest in pest control was first sparked as a child while she would tag along with her father. It was her father's dream that RB Pest Solutions came to fruition, and after she went on to earn 2 master's degrees and finding success as both a college professor and an IT professional. She left her career behind and set out to carry on her father's legacy as CEO of RB Pest Solutions. In her spare time, Robi serves as a mentor through a non-for-profit organization, JUST or JUST. It stands for Just Us Sisters Talking. You will also find her hard work striving to create economic development opportunities for both her family and community. I want to say good morning to Miss Robi Smith. Good morning, Robi.
Good morning.
I was teasing Robi. I said, hey, pretty young lady come in the studio, and she's not afraid of bugs or pests.
Nope.
And I'm 6'2", 220, and I hate little mice. Like if it's a mouse or a rat, Robbie, I can't stand it. So God bless you for your ministry and what you're doing.
Yes.
Robbie, we said a little bit about your background and reading your bio, but I want you to tell our listening audience a little bit more about yourself.
Okay. So being younger, it's me and my sister. I am the youngest. Shout out to Tamika. Hey, sister. So my dad, he's been an exterminator all our life. He will wake up with us with his tank in his bag, and he'll go kill rodents, roaches, and rats, whether he worked for an organization or he did it for himself.
Okay.
And so he always told us, be productive members of society. Really quickly, my mom introduced him to extermination as well, so it was a family effort.
Okay.
And so I would go with him on jobs, and he would be killing roaches, rodents, bed bugs, you name it, and I would be right by him, passing him his things. But he taught us, go to school, be a productive member of society. So that's what I did. I went and got every degree you could think of, MBA, worked in IT, and eventually became an IT professor at many of the colleges.
Similar background. I got my undergrad in IT, the IT-centric focus, and got my MBA in finance also. Mm-hmm. So you didn't freak out with the pest? No. Not a roach scared you, nothing?
You know what? Initially.
Okay.
Yeah, a rat. Because a rat is different from a mice. You'll know. People tell me all the time, I have rats. No, you'll know if you have a rat.
The rats don't. Mice run. Rats don't run.
They'll move you out.
Yeah. Rats don't run. So, as a child growing up and working the jobs with your dad, how did this experience impact you? Talk to us about the impact of being side by side with your father, seeing him put all the work in the business. What kind of impact did that have on you?
I think what it was is that he was always considered the underdog. In a sense where he had his tank and his bag. But he didn't have the resources. He worked for people, but they didn't pass on the knowledge and what he needed to do to actually take that actual can and that bag and turn it into an actual business portfolio.
Okay.
So he's always just been an exterminator.
Okay.
And so seeing that, it was like, okay, I think it's much more to just being an actual technician. We can actually, this is a legacy. We can actually, do something with this. Amazing trade.
But I got to imagine seeing him going to every job day in and day out, it had an impact on your work ethic or what your outlook was about how you approach your tasks.
Absolutely. He's still around right now today, and he does not sit down, 65 years old.
Sure.
He trains all my new technicians that comes in, but he's just, you can't outbeat him. He's the hardest working man I know.
Sure. I would always tell people that my mother was the taskmaster, but my father was the blueprint that showed me how to put in work because he really worked hard, and my work ethic, I get a lot from him. So a lot of small businesses die with the original owner. I'm an insurance agent, Curtis R. Money Insurance Agency. I have countless businesses, especially like dry cleaners. The father may have started the dry cleaners in an era like in the 60s where, racism was prevalent, segregation was prevalent, like the chips were just stacked against us. Yeah. And they worked 30, 40 years to build this business up. Yeah. And the kid who ate from the fruits of the business grew up in the business, and now is that time to step up. Yep. Say, hell no, I don't want to do that. Yeah. And it hurts me, and I don't even have the business. But tell me, so a lot of these small businesses die with their original owner. Why did you continue the business? Why was it important for you to continue with your father's legacy? You
know what? Because that's what we're taught. If you don't take on the family business, it dies, right? But it's another. It could be another narrative to that. And that when I initially started the pest control company, I said, I have 3 daughters.
Okay.
I said, maybe they want to take it over or things like that, but that's not always a reality. So sometimes as businesses, we have to have a plan where we can turn our businesses into a turnkey situation.
Sure.
So whether it is you sell it or your children sit on the board, you don't have to necessarily paint a picture that you always have to be a technician. You can create the business aspect of your businesses as well. So that's what I've done with RB Pest Solutions. My dad was the technician, but I actually turned it into a business where now people, if you're interested in pest control, you don't have to be actually in the industry. You could turn it into a turnkey situation.
Sure. 2 degrees, highly educated, a professor. You could have chosen to do something else, right? You could have said, Dad, you know what, God bless you. You were a technician all these years, but pest, just not for me.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to pick up the mantle?
You know what? One day I was doing an undergraduate course, and I was teaching business plans and how to create that to a room full of undergraduate students. And I just looked at them and, giving them the blueprint of how to build an organization, and something just clicked.
Yeah.
And said, why don't you bet on yourself?
Yeah.
Pest control has been in your family all your life. Why don't you do that?
Yeah.
So that's what really drove me to say I have something at home. I went to school, got an education, but though I actually obtained those skills so that I can come back and do something with my family bloodline.
Yeah.
And so my dad, he's just the hardest working man I know, but didn't have the resources.
Sure.
So he taught his children, go to school, get the education, but he didn't know that while teaching us that, we went off to get the education to come back home and now build a foundation for our family.
Well, you had all the pieces there.
Exactly.
I mean, you had the tactical knowledge because you were there side by side with your dad all those years, so you knew how to do the technical technician part of it. Mm-hmm. Then you added the educational component that maybe your dad was missing, but you brought to the table in terms of structure and business entity and how to market and do different things.
Yes.
And then you had that secret sauce, which was the passion, the passion. And when you put all three of those together, it's a mighty combination. You listen to Curtis R. Monday with my guest, Robi Smith. We're sitting here having a spirited conversation. Be sure to call me in the studio at 312-374-8130. Want to say good morning to Antoine Collins, all the way calling from Houston. Erica Wesley, I see you. Good morning. Brian Packer, what's up, Q? I see you. And Jonathan Young. Robi, when I read your story, you faced some adversity while growing your business. Mm-hmm. And that part of that adversity, part of your story included being evicted while you were trying to grow the business. What was that experience like?
So I started my business in my living room.
Okay.
According to the lease, according to the property manager, you cannot start a business, renting.
Yeah.
And so from there, I immediately was like, okay, I understand. And a year ago, we're located 82nd and Cottage Grove. I have a retail store attached to the actual pest control. So not only do we have pest control services, but we have the retail store. So I moved the business.
Right.
But even then, with her knowing that, to the powers that be, she felt like, well, you started it here and it was against the lease. And so she gave me a few months or like a month or so to get out. And so, I got evicted. She kicked me out.
Who snitched on you?
You know what? It was my trucks. Oh. The trucks were pulling up in front of the house. And like I explained to her, I said, now, if I was a FedEx employee and I drove one of their trucks home, would you bother me?
Right.
And she was like, but is that your company? And so at that point, I was like, you know what, God, I can't be afraid to step out on faith. I'm getting put out. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but, you're going to make a way. And so I hurried up and looked for somewhere to stay and continue to grow my business.
I mean, sort of you mixing dangerous chemicals inside the apartment. Right? Were you doing that?
No, I was no.
So that was just the administrative hub of your business.
That's all.
A lot of businesses are home-based businesses. It doesn't make any sense. Landlords want you to make some money. You can pay their rent on time. So that doesn't click with me. But again, God had a bigger plan for you. So maybe it was meant for you to kind of step out there on faith. Mm-hmm. As an entrepreneur, what do you find has been your biggest obstacle, your biggest challenge you had to overcome as you have been growing your business?
To make clear executive decisions. Before this, I was an extremely indecisive person.
Okay.
But it's no room for this over here. Going from a staff of 1 and now over 15 employees, you don't have room to error. You have to make decisions, and you'll deal with the consequences as they come.
Absolutely.
And then it revealed myself to me as well. My business taught me a lot of things about myself.
Right.
Some things that I loved about me that helped grow the business, and some weaknesses that I needed to work on.
So there's someone listening right now who has they're the quintessential solopreneur, the one individual running their business, mm-hmm. and they're struggling to get scale. How did you go from being a sole prop or your own one individual mm-hmm. to having 15 employees?
First of all, you have to get over the fact that you are going to make mistakes. Sure. You don't know what you don't know. So don't sweat the small stuff. Many people tell you, you need an accountant, you need a lawyer, you need to get LLC. Not in the beginning. In the beginning, you want to build a portfolio clients account.
Okay.
Because word of mouth takes you a long way.
Okay.
You'll know when you'll get to a point where you need to go LLC or S Corp and go the structure route. But in the beginning, it's truly just account at a time. Great customer service is key. And then those people tell people and they tell people. And from there, you look up in a year or two later, or months later, you have a whole, structure running.
So your focus was to build your systems and your clientele,
mm-hmm.
and then you started to systematically put more employees on.
Absolutely.
Did the clientele growth dictate when you would put another employee on? Did you have a system to say, hey, you know what, I want to put a certain amount of profits per year towards growing my business? Because a lot of individuals have a difficult time paying the additional overhead in respect to salaries that it takes to grow a business. What was your strategy as to going from just you to 15 employees?
So obviously you definitely want to say, okay, what type of entrepreneur do you want to be? From there, and then that determines also sometimes you can work backwards and say, how much money do you want to make a day, or how much just in the beginning. Sure. But I know as the accounts start coming in or eventually came in, that's when I started to say, okay, based on these number of accounts, I'm going to need these number of employees in order to be obligated to show up to those. And it's a ratio thing.
Okay.
Because you want to provide great customer service. You don't want to get ahead of your business, but you want to grow with your business, because your business can get ahead of you and become overwhelming.
Sure.
The universe will give you exactly what you asked for.
Absolutely.
But it definitely has to be an employee per ratio of your accounts.
Like for me, when I was growing my business, I always took 10%, like whatever I grew my business in terms of revenue that year, I put that back in the business. We grew by 10%, put that back in the business. We grew by 15%, put that back in the business, whether it was another team member or increase advertising and marketing, but, trying to actually build a business that's not dependent upon me as the individual.
Absolutely.
You got a unique approach to your business model as you try to educate your clients so they don't need your services. Totally contradictory to the entrepreneur. All the entrepreneurs are trying to get this work, trying to get this bread, but you got this motto. You want to educate so they don't need you. How did you come up with that, and how's it been working for you?
Look, in my community, a lot of people are renting.
Okay.
They don't have the money all the time. And then the landlords that are buying up the properties in our communities are not always doing right by the community, right? So it was my goal to say, okay, I don't want to be contract driven. I want to be that actual company that I'm in the community. The people who are renting, you don't have so good landlords. You could come to my store and get the dollar glue boards. You can do your own pest control with the products that I use, and you can actually achieve that. But I don't want to be contract driven because I want to actually get rid of it.
Sure.
I don't get any. I'm not in this. It's near and dear to my heart. Pest control equals father. Father equals underdog. It's in my heart.
I got you.
So showing up, I want to actually get rid of the ants or the spiders or the bed bugs, not put you on a contract where, I want to get rid of it. I want to be a solution. That's why it's RB Pest Solutions.
Now, Robbie, I hate them all. I hate rats. I hate mice. I don't discriminate. I hate bed bugs. I'm a property owner. I own property.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think, what call do I hate getting the most? Do I hate getting the call that, hey, we saw a mouse? I got in the call that we saw a rat, and I was petrified. I was like, hey, call on Jesus. You're on your own on that one.
Yeah.
Or bed bugs. And I got to think the bed bug thing is probably the one I hate the most, because I got multi-units, and it's expensive because you got to touch or treat the neighboring.
Clover, the
neighboring units. So what's your wheelhouse in respect to, I know you do it all, but what's the one area in terms of pests that you got it down pat, you can take the Pepsi challenge versus any other pest control or pest solution companies out there? What do you do best?
You know what? I would have to say bed bugs. I think we've done extremely well with our bed bug services and how we deal with it from an eco-friendly approach.
Sure.
Because a lot of the pesticides can take a toll on people. So you want to be equipped to say, okay, if I go into a unit, can I deal with pesticides, or is it small children? Is it people with respiratory issues, and how do you tackle it from that standpoint?
Sure.
And so I think bed bugs is great, and then rodents.
Sure. And with the bed bug thing, again, from experience, if I have a 3-unit and let's say the second unit is the one that's infected, not only did I treat that one, I had to treat the one above it.
Yeah, you have to do your adjacents.
Yeah,
you have to do, and then even after that, once we get rid of the source and we do the adjacents, you may want to focus on doing some actual preventive moving forward, just to make sure. And then it gives the landlord the opportunity to see the housekeeping issues of the situation. Because sometimes landlords will get an opportunity to go into the units, but pest control can be your eyes, letting you know, okay, well, after putting in these kitchen cabinets, we have some holes up under that kitchen that needs to get taken care of, because all the walls are attached. So adjacent is called a clover treatment, which is what we do.
I got you. In closing, there's some entrepreneur who's listening who's inspired by your story. I'm inspired by your story. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give someone who aspires to go into business for themselves?
to just do it. And I know that sounds so cliche, but people is like, I have this idea and I want to, start it. And Robbie, I need to sit down and talk to you. And it's like, no, you don't. Just go get you some business cards, hop on one of those sites, get you 50 for about $25. And actually, sometimes you have to do a combination of door-to-door sales because we are in a technology standpoint where it's like do everything social media, but nothing beats good old-fashioned relationships. Actually walking into businesses and offices and looking people in the eye and say, hi, I'm Robbie with RB Pest Solutions. Let me get rid of your unwanted for good.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I believe in the same philosophy as I grow. The Curtis Armudi Insurance Agency. I'm big on relationships.
Yeah.
And even with the Urban Business Roundtable, we're big on relationships. So I want to publicly say thank you for your story. Thank you for your grit, your vision, for taking the mantle from your dad, and keep it up. Yeah. Let's remain in contact.
Yes,
I'll make sure you get my information for individuals who want to support your business or learn more about you. Where can they find you?
So you can find me. Website is www.rbpestsolutions.com. Also, our social media platforms is r.b.pestsolutions. And feel free to give us a call, and either one of our experts will answer the phone, and we'll be out there within the 24-hour turnaround. We're also located 8243 South Cottage Grove in Chatham, in the heart of Chatham.
Absolutely. I want to say thank you to my guest this morning. Ms. Robbie Smith,
Thank
CEO
you.
of R&B Pest Solutions.
Yes.
Thank you for being my guest.
Have a good
Absolutely.
one.
Keep it locked here on the Urban Business Roundtable. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by my next guest, Miss Erica Campbell, here on the Urban Business Roundtable. Man, they got me here juking. Hey. Welcome back to the Urban Business Roundtable. I'm your host, Curtis R. Monday. Call me in the studio at 312-374-8130. I'm excited about my next guest. Wow, where do I begin? She's a wife, a mother of three. She's a multi-platinum gospel singer, both on her own and as part of the very popular group Mary with her sister Tina. She's also the host of a nationally syndicated radio show. Comes on daily, called Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell, which plays in 40 markets around the country. She's a judge on BET's Sunday's Best, and is the author of a new book called More Than Pretty, Doing the Soul Work That Uncovers Your True Beauty. I want to say good morning to Miss Erica Campbell. Good morning, Erica. How you doing?
I'm well, and you? How are you?
Erica, I can't complain. Wouldn't nobody listen to me if I tried to complain, Erica. So
right.
You know how it goes. Now, Erica, everybody knows about you, so I'm gonna hit you with the hard stuff first. The hard stuff.
Okay.
Let's get the hard stuff out the way. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna give you a question or category, and I want you to answer it.
Okay.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Pancakes. Okay. Outside of Christmas, what's your favorite holiday?
Outside of Christmas, I'd say New Year's.
New Year's, okay.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody knows me, Erica, this next one is near and dear to my heart. If you can't play the movie game with me, then we can't be friends. If I say a line to a movie and you can't finish my line, then we cannot be homies. And so I want you to tell me. I'm not gonna give you one, but I'm gonna ask you this. What's the one movie you can recite every line to?
The Lion King.
I wouldn't expect it that one. The Lion King, for real?
Either The Lion King or Beauty and the Beast.
I'm not mad at you. Okay, so now we got the hard stuff out the way. We can go home and go to bed now. It's all good now. But
Come on, let's do it.
That's right. I started that because, again, you have such a renowned career, and people know a lot about you and what you're doing, so it was very challenging to find some new material. But I want your bio doesn't do you the full justice of all that you've been able to accomplish. I want you to tell us, do you ever sit back in amazement and look at everything that God has done in your life and for you?
Absolutely. I'm amazed at all that God has done. I'm amazed, but I'm not surprised, because if he's going to do exceedingly abundantly above all I could ever ask or think, when amazing things happen, I should expect it, because he's that kind of God. I remember when I was doing the promotion for the Help 2.0 with, I love God and all of that, I told myself, I don't want to be in interviews saying, I'm so surprised, I'm so shocked. Because if we expect the greatness from God, then we shouldn't be in disbelief when he does what we believe and asked for and prayed for, and then he exceeds that. So I'm grateful all the time.
Absolutely.
All the time I'm grateful.
And I'm glad you said it. It's funny. As Christians, a lot of times we read these phenomenal different stories in the Bible and think that it's just some made-for-TV kind of made-up stuff that is still not the same God who did that then, who can do that now. And so I'm glad that you have a spirit where you kind of wait in expectation for God to kind of do His thing. What was your watershed moment? What was the watershed moment in your life where you realized that you were different, that your life was different, that you were going on a different trajectory?
It was kind of early on, probably in my 20s. I remember being at church, and I remember talking to one of the missionaries, and she was just saying, "Erica, you're different, honey. You can't do what everybody else does." And I did not like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to do what everybody else was doing. I wanted to chill and hang out. And she said, "Sorry, honey. God has marked you. It is what it is."
Yeah.
And I was overwhelmed because I know He could have picked somebody else. I frequently get overwhelmed because I know that there's somebody that's way better than me, but for some reason God keeps opening these doors for me. But before He was opening the doors, I would always say, "Well, Lord, whatever door you open, I'll walk through." I just had no idea how big the doors would be, but I knew that it was going to be a yes.
Yeah.
If I could clearly know, because sometimes things happen and you're not sure who opened the doors. Is this God? Is this me? Is this the devil? What's going on?
Yeah.
But when you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's God, I think it's sinful to be afraid to walk through.
Absolutely.
So I walked through many doors going, "Okay, God, as long as you with me, I'm walking."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, sometimes you hit it around the head. Sometimes that we look at the circumstances around us and we don't have it all figured out and don't think we're qualified or capable to do this. But when God has put His stamp of approval on you, right, you don't need to figure it out. You just need obedient and just be obedient enough to walk through. But
obedience.
It's hard being consecrated, Erica. It's hard being set aside. You talked about how you didn't like it, the fact that you were often told that you were different. How were you able to reconcile or grow into assuming that responsibility that you were in fact set aside and different?
I wouldn't. I don't know if hard is the right word. I know we say that because it implies that it's hard to love God. It implies that it's hard to say no to the wrong thing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I understand people go, "Oh, we in this flesh and we human," and I love, I get all of that. But it's like loving a basketball team and go, "It's hard to watch every game and get all the stats, and I don't want to do all of it." You know what I mean? But when it comes to God, we make it hard to love someone who's loved us unconditionally, who's given us everything. So I try to watch my words. I feel like my words are very, very important.
Sure.
And if the scripture says all things are possible to them that believe,
yes.
If I believe I can do it, if the word says that I can do it, then I'm not going to get in my humanness and get in my flesh and say, "Oh, so I don't know if I can do this." If I can do all things through Christ, then I can do all things through Christ.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It may be a challenge. It may be, a mountain that I need to climb over, but I'm equipped, prepared, and ready for it, And so we can't ask God to do great things, and we constantly say, "Ooh, it's so hard to love you. It's so hard to live right. It's so hard to read your word." Even though loving you, living right, and reading your word gives me life, gives me advantage, gives me favor, gives me mercy, gives me grace. So I just like to be careful with my words. I'm just way grateful to God. When people read my bio, when people want to interview me, I'm like, "You could be. This could be anybody."
Yeah.
And somehow you chose me.
Isn't that awesome?
And I'm just grateful.
Isn't that awesome? And you're right.
For sure.
It's not by accident that you have such a profound respect for words, the power of life and death in the tongue. Your gift is, through voice and your vocals, and you're blessing people with the words that come out your mouth. I know this next question may be damn near impossible, but describe this as best as possible, as succinctly as possible. What's it like, being a part of a group that touched so many lives and working with your sister? Like, what's that whole? What does that feel like?
It feels like, wow, God. It's an honor. It's a privilege. It's a blessing. It's amazing. It's wonderful. God is good. That's the best way I can describe.
How are you two different? Like, I know my sister's frugal as heck, Erica, and I'm the one that's going to spend the money. So how are you two different?
Tina's way more meticulous and concerned about sometimes the details that I'm not concerned about.
Yeah.
I'm very go with the flow. I'm very easygoing. I'm like, it'll be all right. And Tina feel like I got to make things right, and I think that's impossible. It's impossible to make things right. So I think the benefit of us being together is us learning from each other. Her learning from my strength, me learning from her strength, her learning from my kind of easygoing personality.
You speak. I've heard you speak, and you just kind of alluded to it in our conversation a little bit. You speak about being led by the Holy Spirit with your decision making and walking in your purpose. With so much going on, motherhood, being a wife, author, radio show, artist. How are you able to block out the noise to be able to hear God's voice and direction?
Say that last part again.
How are you able to with so much going on in your life and being a person who believes in being led by the Holy Spirit for your direction, how are you able to block out the noise? How are you able to hear God's word clearly to give you direction on what to do and what not to do?
I'm very intentional about what I allow in my headspace.
Sure.
I'm very careful with how much of the rah-rah of the world I let make it into my head and heart. You can hear it, because that's life, but you don't have to babysit it. You don't have to nurture it. And I think a lot of times that's what we do. We sit with information and we let it make a permanent imprint on our heart, and it affects your belief. It affects how you feel about you. You just have to be very, very careful, because what you hear becomes what you believe.
Sure. Sure.
And so I'm just very, very careful about what I take in and what I listen to and, what I watch.
Sure.
Because some stuff just don't hit my heart right. And I be like, I don't need none of this information.
Right.
Just trying to mess with my Holy Ghost.
Oh, yeah.
God may be trying to tell me something. I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to be on the wrong page.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I allowed my heart to go to a place that God didn't want it to go. So I try to be careful.
Yeah. I concur with that. You have to be very protective of your space and your energy and what you're letting in. One small crack, one small lapse in defense, that's all the enemy needs. Erica, I like to keep good people around me. I like to surround myself with, I don't like yes men. I need people that's going to tell me the unadulterated truth coming from a pure place that I know have my best interests in mind. That gives me a level of humility. It gives me that perpetual thorn in my side that Paul speaks about in his in the New Testament. I want to publicly thank you for your courage, specifically in the area of marriage and sharing your personal testimony. And I was married, and we were going through a rough patch, and divorce was imminent. And I remember we were sitting there trying to figure it out, and we were looking at this show called Love Is, and listening to the different stories and different things of that nature. And I can remember in that space, Erica, one of the most powerful emotions that I had was this sense of humiliation about being associated with what I deemed as a failure if the marriage didn't work. And my God, what would people say? What would people think? I'm Curtis R. Monday. And my shine is not nearly as like yours, but with this social media era, every relationships are very public and so forth. Yeah. Breakups are very public. So I really struggle with this whole notion of being, this fear about what would people think, what would people say, and things of that nature. And so how did you find the strength to speak openly about that tough chapter in your life?
God has blessed me with the ability to deep down in my sanctified soul not care what the heck people say about my personal life.
Okay.
I mean, it's 5 people in this house, me, my husband, and my 3 kids. That is the most important thing. If there is love here, if there is something worth fighting for here, then I'm going to fight for it.
Yeah.
And I don't care what people going to say. Because it's not like they're going to walk down the street and go, hey, you stupid. They're going to whisper it. They'll post a comment. And I can delete that if I want to.
Yeah.
And if you take time out of your whole life to tell me what you feel about my life, that's kind of not smart on other people's part. Even though I know that's what they do.
Yeah.
I know that's a part of it. That definitely comes with it. But I knew that there was more value in this marriage and in this house, and I knew that there was something worth fighting for.
Yeah.
I knew it absolutely.
Yeah.
I knew that there were other pieces to the puzzle that people don't and won't understand and don't need to, frankly. And I know if I'm always singing about God can forgive, He can save, God can do, God can do, but He can't do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then I'm a hypocrite.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what believers do. Lots of believers do it. I mean, we talk to spiritual advisors, pastors, bishops, and some of them like, well, good luck. 'Cause this may not work. I mean, literally, faithless.
Yeah.
When it comes to relationship, people are faithless because they don't want to let go of their pain. They treat the pain like a pet. They nurture it.
Yeah.
They talk about it. They think about it. And you got to get that stuff out of your head and heart if you want God to repair. If you want Him to revive and put the pieces back together, you got to be careful about who you're around.
Yeah.
Certain music I could not listen to. Certain songs when I was going through that stuff.
No Mary J.
It made me a
Blige.
crazy woman.
No Mary J. Blige.
I could not listen to Resentment by Beyonce. I would be grabbing a knife. I was like, Lord, let me listen to A Heart That Forgives. Let me listen to all this. Listen.
Yeah.
Let me get my head right.
Yeah.
But I knew that He made a mistake. I knew He wasn't a mistake.
Yeah.
I knew that there was areas where I was missing in action. I remember when He, asked me for more time and He needed more, energy and for me. And I was like, yeah, I'm on the road. Good luck.
Yeah.
And so, not that that's an excuse, but
it's reality.
Sometimes
it's the truth.
Yeah, it's a reality. Yeah. I think sometimes people let the pieces of the marriage fall, and then when it totally falls, you're broken. But you got to pay attention. The enemy was trying to stop where I am now.
Right.
It wasn't that he was so upset with me back then. The enemy knew that greatness was in store for me and my husband. He was like, we got to stop this now.
Yeah.
These kids going to be great. This church going to be great. They're going to do way more than what they think they are. I got to stop them now.
We talked about that
so
earlier.
I couldn't let them win.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, that oftentimes the enemy doesn't attack you because of where you are right now. He attacks you because of your future and where you're going, and there's a correlation between your promise and the pain you may go through. So just consider it a badge of honor. And again, like I said, I want to give you a shout out and just say thank you for your courageousness. You're the author of a book, More Than Pretty, Doing the Soul Work That Uncovers Your True Beauty. What was it like writing the book, and what was your motivation?
I was excited to write this book because we talk about so many sides of ourselves, but being a woman and navigating through life, sometimes as church women, we just get caught in the Christian bubble. Praise the Lord, all is well, doing good, blessed and highly favored. And sometimes there's so much more to the conversation that needs to be had. And I just wanted to talk about my experience, talk about Christianity and sexuality, learning to be okay with my body and how God created me. And I'm excited. I share a lot of my journey, though the book is not autobiographical. It is a lot of my truth, a lot of what God has taught me about me, and I'm just excited about what the book is doing in the lives of women everywhere.
Absolutely. We put that, as Christians, we put that sexual topic as a taboo. And it always baffles me because it's the most natural thing. Like, you wouldn't be here without hopefully some good sex. You wouldn't be here without the sex. It's the most natural part of being a human, but it's such a not talk about it.
And if God made anything better than that, He left it in heaven. So listen, we need to start having conversations and preparing young people to not get their information from YouTube,
right,
or their friends. They should be having it with people who are saved, who have a great understanding of how God created our bodies.
Absolutely.
And what it's for, the unity that's supposed to come in a couple, and the strength that's supposed to build. I just think there's a lot of conversation that we need to have to catch up with the world, because they're getting it everywhere else.
Yeah.
Why not the church? Why not the body of Christ? Why not the kingdom?
I read a little excerpt from your book, and you describe yourself as having a complicated relationship with the word pretty. For those who may not know what that means, elaborate on that. What do you mean when you said that?
Absolutely. So I grew up hearing that as a little girl, of course, little children, oh, she's so pretty, she's so cute, she's so pretty. And it was great, And then as a teenager, you grow up and the word changes meaning a little bit. It's not just I'm pretty. The word is a little more alluring. It's trying to make sure I draw you to me because I'm calling you pretty all the time, coming from guys, And then I mature even more, and I'm in business meetings, and the men that I'm in business meetings with sometimes want to rest on the fact that I'm a beautiful woman, which I'm aware of, but I didn't come here for that. I came here to negotiate.
Yeah.
I didn't need you to tell me that when I was pretty, when I walked in the room. I knew it when I woke up this morning. And so it's been used in different ways.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's nurturing as a child, but it can trick you up as a teenager, and then it can steal your power as an adult. And so you just have to I had to be very careful with what that word. So I wanted to give my pretty power, and I wanted to give it purpose. So I'm not just cute for the sake of being cute, you know what I mean? Because that's dumb. It has to mean more than that. I have to mean more than that. And so I just wanted to redefine the word for myself and for my daughters.
So it sounds like as you evolved and grew as a person, the interpretation of how that word was impacted you also changed. That's how it was for me on a lower scale, though, Erica. Like I'm chocolate. I'm dark skinned, right? And growing up, being dark skinned wasn't cool.
Right,
I was Choco Bliss, Black African Booty Scratcher. They called me a lot of negative things. And then I guess it was around the time New Jack City came out, Erica, and Michael Jordan, that chocolate became in. And since that time, I had a 25-year run, Eric. I've been hot for 20.
Come on.
So I've embraced my chocolateness, Eric. I embraced my darkness. So I strutted. Hey,
I love it.
I know, Erica, when I'm getting ready to speak to an audience and I'm preparing a message, it takes a lot. And a lot of times when it comes out, it can be very therapeutic for me as I'm sharing with people. Writing this book, was it therapeutic for you? How did writing a book change you as an individual?
Oh man, it really has shifted my life. The things that have poured out of my soul, the way God has allowed me to have perspective of the things that I've been through. I'm like, wow, God, you are so amazing. You are just so wonderful. There's one thing that I learned that had been a catalyst kind of for this book. There was a woman at my church when I was a young girl, and she said, oh, she's probably having sex. And it hurt my heart. It offended me. It made me feel bad about myself. I was about 16, and I carried that story for a lot of years. The mean lady at church. And I talked about the mean lady at church and what she said to me and how it made me feel. And I talked about it many times. While I was writing the book, the Holy Spirit said, what if she wasn't even talking to you?
Okay.
What if you took ownership of that story and that wasn't even what she was talking about somebody else? And I was like, wow, Lord. And it showed me how we own things. We own situations because grandma said or auntie said, and we just own it. We don't have to own that stuff.
Right.
We don't have to sign. I don't have to attach the label that you think I am because you didn't think I'm something. And then what if she wasn't talking to me? Again, it's another plot and plan of the enemy to stop us at young ages, at crucial points where we should be catapulting forward. We're remembering what we did and what they did and what they said and how I feel. And they don't think. And who cares what they think?
Absolutely.
So glad I wrote this book because it has freed me in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. In closing, what's next for Erica Campbell? What's on the horizon? What's 2020 going to look like?
2020, there will be more music. The radio show's still going, still building and branding the hairline. My kids are going to write a book.
Sure. Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm doing More Than Pretty with my girls. My son is writing a book with Warren and his grandfather, 3 generations. And next Christmas, we're going to do a Campbell family Christmas. So a lot is coming.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, I know I'm among the masses with this. I'm a fan, and I support you 100%. And just want to extend blessings and well wishes to you and your family and your children and all that you endeavor to do. Consider yourself a friend and us as a resource here on the Urban Business Roundtable. And thank you for sharing some time with us. If people want to pick up the book, Erica, where can they get it?
They can go everywhere books are sold. It's Barnes & Noble, it's at Walmart's and Target's, or you can get the audio book if you like to drive and listen, and it's actually me reading the book. And so everywhere books are sold, you can pick up More Than Pretty, doing the soul work that uncovers your true beauty. All
right. We appreciate you, Erica. Thank you for taking time out with us today, and God bless you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate you greatly. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. The one and only Erica Campbell. Phenomenal job. Great story. Look at Robbie's face. I wish you guys could see. When I post it on social media, you better see her face. What do you think about her message, Robbie?
She is so amazing, so anointed.
Yeah.
That woman. It's just,
Yeah.
anointings over her life.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I like the, again, of course, I love the fact as an entrepreneur that she's doing different things in respect to, multiple streams of income and different endeavors and living out her purpose. I like the ideal. I like the reality that she said that she doesn't listen to other people. She blocks it out, right? And that was one of the things that I'm still evolving at, not listening to what the naysayers may say. And so I received that, and I thank her for that. Yeah.
Or even what you say to yourself about what you can't do.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk ourselves out of anything.
Yes.
If we can't really see how it's gonna map out. If it don't have to make sense to us a lot of times. It don't have to make sense to people. We just got to be again willing vessels to go. And so I want to thank Miss Erica Campbell for her spending time with us today. Robbie, one more time, give our listening audience some information about you. Where can they find you and your business?
www.rbpestsolutions.com or social media platforms r.b.pestsolutions, or come visit us in Chatham at 8243 South Cottage Grove.
All right. I want to say good morning again. Thank you to all my followers on social media looking at the Facebook Live. Renee Brumley, good morning to you. Dennis Rowland, good morning to you also. And my man Jeff Arsenault out in Frankfurt. Please tell Debbie and the family I say hello to you also. And so I appreciate you guys. Great show today with my two phenomenal guests that are doing a great job. I appreciate you guys. Hey, today is special for me, not just because I had two great guests, but today we're having Chance Jordan, a.k.a. Chance the Baby's birthday party. My son turns 1 year old on Monday. God, I can't believe how fast time has flown and how big he's gotten. But Chance the Baby turns 1 on Monday. I feel like Chance the Baby is he's like a social media sensation. People come up to me in the street like, how's Chance the Baby? Like, where's Chance the Baby? And so he's great. And so Sonia Levine, my engineer, big cousin, all my guests, I thank you guys. I got to get ready to get out of here. No, always, I don't do this for my first name. I do this for my last name, Chance Jordan. As soon as I get through with She Flips, Daddy will be right over to you. I love you. Say what you want to about me, but I always know that I did it my way. God bless you. Bye-bye.